I would probably look at the HR person. Today we are talking about HR alignment to business, where HR as a business partner to anything and everything we do. We should have HR part of the discussion right from stage one, because that's where you also get into the cultural elements. Because if you look at some of the acquisitions and mergers which have been not very successful, in addition to financials, I would say there's a lot of impact on the cultural and the social piece, which is very critical. So I mean, I know you will agree with me. The minute you keep saying that I need a space on the table, you will not get you a space on the table. You need to speak the business language. So I think if you are part of an organization where they are getting into something like this, sense it and get into part of it right from day one, so that you don't have any surprises. Because ultimately, if the integration fails, if the merger fails, the acquisition fails, the first blame will be on the HR person, saying that financially we did everything, but culturally this person was not able to integrate the organization into the bigger organization. So get your space on the table, and it will not be given automatically. It will not be a free lunch for you. We'll have to earn it. Okay. If you ask me, the next two slides is two slides which I'll spend a little more time in what I want. So I would say these are the three things which are very important for a HR person to lead a merger and acquisition. One is integrate. Second one is engage, grow. In fact, I'm not putting this in any sequence. It's not that first is integrate, next is grow. It's actually a continuous cycle. So ideally, I look at a scenario where the acquisition is done, where the deal is done, where the signing of the document is done saying that X company is being sold to Y company. That's where the HR folks get into, where you do a day one exercise, right? You do a big town hall, you introduce about this company, you do a PPT and all that stuff. I think that's where the time starts, where you start doing these three things parallelly. It's not that one should be followed by the other. Integrate. When I say integrate, typically if you look at any acquisition, the first thing which people would obviously be worried about is their salary, their existence. Correct? I had a birthday cake celebration in my company. Will that continue? When I get married, I'll get a birthday gift. Will I get that? Those are all very, very fundamental questions, but very relevant questions for an employee, right? Because that's his bread and butter. So integrate is the stage where you map each and every activity, every HR function of the organization to the new organization. In fact, traditionally, if you look at what has been happening in integration is, there is an approach called select all and replace all. Okay. Today, so let us assume that X company is acquired by Y company, and X company has a set of band structure. The methodology is select all band structure, replace all with the Y company structure. That doesn't work. Okay. You have to look at connecting the best of both worlds. If there is something which is working well, even in terms of a policy, even in terms of a very, very small benefit which is applicable to employees, you should extend it. And that's actually becoming very important today, because that will go a long way in the mindset of the employee, saying, okay, I've been acquired by, I've lost this. I used to have flexible working time. In the new organization, I'm not even getting it. It's a mindset. It's a cultural issue. So the first phase, integrate, is mapping every aspect of HR, every minute aspect of HR. It can be anything relating to recruitment or training, talent development, any benefit. Even if there is a corporate social responsibility where the organization is doing beyond work to the community, that also should be mapped. And look at how that can be continued if that's a best practice, or taken to the next level if this organization is going to add value. So that's probably the first element, which is predominantly the base, the fundamental, the foundation of the employee policy. Okay. When I say engage, see, this is actually a very, very tricky word, because engage is a very subjective word, right? How many of you are married? I think most of, I said how many of you are married? Huh? You forgot, okay. So if somebody is asking, so I'm not talking about the marriage and mergers and acquisition, it is the marriage in your personal life. Okay. So if somebody is asking, you need to engage your family, you need to have a work-life balance, it's a very subjective term, right? So if you ask one person, hey, for me, Monday to Friday I work. Saturday, Sunday I make it a point to spend time with my family. I take my family out for a movie, out for a mall, take them out for some vacation once in 6 months, that's engagement for him. Whereas if you take another person, for him engagement will be very different. So when I say engagement, look at how you can customize it to at least majority of the population, and how you will be able to customize this is look at the culture of the organization, where you look at the background, because every organization will have its own evolution, okay, and that evolution is very critical. Look at what has contributed to the growth of the organization in terms of how that organization is evolved, what has been their critical success factors, what has been those elements which has contributed to this particular growth as far as the organization is concerned. So try to customize certain things which is very specific, which can touch the sentiments of people. That's very important. That's the engage piece. Grow is actually one thing which is missed out with most of the acquisitions. So what happens is, as soon as the acquisitions happen, the CEO will be from the acquired company, the head of HR, not in this case, the head of HR will be from the acquired company, the CFO will be from the acquired company. So then you give a signal to the company saying that you don't want to invest talent in that particular organization. The most important element, in fact, when I went to take up this role, I was told, don't even wear a GE shirt and go to office. It's okay, don't convey a message that you are different from them. Where they have an LM uniform, please wear an LM uniform. Change your email ID. Okay? So that actually conveys a lot of message. And that actually takes a big way in taking people along with you. And that's the grow piece. Tell them that you are part of an organization. In fact, the message which I carried to this organization when I moved is, I know this happened to you a month before. You have a lot of questions in your mind in terms of what would happen to you. Trust me, I was like you 5 years before. I joined, I gave the same example. I got an offer from Converti. I joined on day one, which became GE. And I was also very open in telling them that I have still not understood GE. Okay. I told them in a very, very simple analogy saying, I got into a train about 5 years before. The good thing is another 3,000 people have got into the same train. And let's continue the journey of exploring GE. It makes, by doing that, you actually hit the sentiments of the people. You actually hit the pulse of the people. That is, it can be, as I said, it can be a very simple thing of wearing a GE shirt or a GE t-shirt when you go to the office. That's where you have to connect people and touch their fundamentals. That's very important. So I would, as I said, will not look at which one should be doing first. I think all this should happen parallelly. And the most important piece, the connectors, is the feedback. I think the organization which is acquiring a new organization should be open enough to take feedback. There is always a big brother mindset. I think one of my seniors said, there is always a mindset saying, boss, I am your owner. I have bought you. You have to listen to what I am saying. That should not be the case. Let's have mechanism. Let's create a lot of opportunities for people to give feedback as and when possible, so that you work on it. In fact, GE has also come up with a methodology called First Works methodology, which is you have some leap of faith assumptions, you do a minimum viable product or a minimum viable stage, take a stock there in terms of what you're doing. Is it good enough for you to progress to the next level, or you need to pivot it something else? And this we are doing in the current acquisition which we are doing, where we are trying to revisit whether we are doing the right direction. And if there's a feedback which is very sound, very loud, saying it's not working well, the organization should be matured enough to take that feedback. Otherwise, it will not going to help. Okay. So, as I said, in whichever order, I'm okay, but look at the core, which is the foundation of your HR policies, the engagement piece, which is customized without creating any mindset to people that you are here to take over them and destroy their career or destroy their career options, and then create that growth opportunity. Okay. So this is what I had been personally adopting. I have individual action areas against talent acquisition, but this probably covers the fundamentals in terms of how you go about doing your HR piece.